So I'm here to talk, just kidding, Dave. Let me tell you why we travel to Mexico for all of our medical needs. It's not to bash the USA or criticize their healthcare, but more so to highlight the alternatives out there that are, for the most part, feared or people hesitate on them. And I just want to help open that door if you want to take a sneak inside and check it out. The reason I'm doing this video by myself is because we came primarily for some health needs of mine, not Matt. So all the Matt fans out there is got to deal with an Erica video. So I'm not a healthcare expert. I understand insured and not insured. There's Medicare, Medicaid, all these things there. But I also understand that the prices are rising. It's a number one complaint when you ask the public in regards to being treated for anything medical. And I'd love to say that you get what you pay for, right? The higher the prices go, the better care we're getting, the more quality instruction we're getting on our own nutrition and prolonged health. Personally, I don't feel that's the case, especially after we came to Mexico with significantly lower prices and phenomenal care. I would not be sitting in front of the camera right now and tell you this if I thought it was okay or if there wasn't a significant difference. But it was so outstanding to me that I felt the need to share. Even if it helps one person out there struggling with pain or a chronic situation, finances. If there's just one of you out there that gets on the plane and comes here for help, I really hope it benefits that person. Before I dive into my personal experience, I want to bring up the idea. Those of you who know me personally know that I've been somewhat of a health nut most of my life, or strive to be an athlete, and I am super guilty. I've got the supplements, I've got the protein powders, I've got all these fancy things that are supposed to make me healthier and stronger and more fit. Interesting that people in America, North America, the USA, spend more money on supplements, more money on vitamins, healthcare, doctor visits, surgeries, the list goes on. Yet, statistically, they don't rank as the healthiest. In fact, it's the opposite. Okay, enough of the system talk and that part that I'm not a fan of anyway. I want to share my personal experience. It's not flattering. It might be TMI for some people or it might be really interesting to others, so listen up. I was a backpacker. I'd like to call myself a professional backpacker because I lived on the road full time. But this also meant I carried a 50-pound backpack on my back with all of my belongings worldwide. We're talking 80 stamps on my passport with nothing but this bag on my shoulders, going from place to place and hitchhiking and cab rides and bus running to train station, all these things. And I didn't realize that was going to impact my unstoppable 30-year-old body because I was strong, I was healthy, and it didn't hurt when I was doing it. Well, that came after a good 10 years of doing hair, which is when I would stand in one spot 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for years. Then I went into the backpacking, and then when I stopped backpacking, I dove into CrossFit. The reason I'm telling you about all of these physical things per se about my past is because I struggled with hemorrhoids. I say struggled because they're now taken care of. Thank you, Mexico. Okay, so backpacking, hairstyling, heavy workouts, disordered eating, all of these things kind of developed into a physical manifestation, which was hemorrhoids. They started out unrecognizable, then they started to bleed. Then they prolapse, which is cover your eyes, cover your ears. Prolapse means when they start in and then they protrude out. Can be painful, cannot be painful. When they first started to do that, I would take care of it and then go on my day. Well, a couple of months ago, it got painful real fast. I have a high pain tolerance from what I've been told over what I've experienced. This was tolerable, but just shy of being unbearable. Tears streaming down my face, can't walk, can't sit, barely could sleep because you're not comfortable. So my amazing husband was like, we're going to the ER. This is ridiculous. Keep in mind, this is the second time I went to the ER. The first time I was pregnant, so they said, nothing we can do. You're pregnant, come back when it's over. Well, of course, it got worse after pregnancy. Fast forward, here we are. He drops me off at the ER. I sat there for, I don't know, an hour or two in the waiting room, one cheek, hoping the blood isn't coming out kind of king. The doctor finally sees me, does no physical inspection, and says, I'm going to write you a prescription for a cream. That should help the inflammation. I was like, sir, cream? Hey, you can't put a Band-Aid on a broken arm and call it good. I didn't say that to him, but I was really thinking it. So I take the prescription, I go to CVS, $300, you guys, because I was out of, what's that called? Where you're not at the right place, the right time with the right doctor in the right state. So we're going to charge you. It was just silly. So I said no to that cream and just went home and kept crying. And up to that point, that was my experience trying to receive help from the medical industry in America. Finally, I thought, okay, colonoscopy, and maybe it's something more than I think it is. I want to check this out and make sure. Called into my insurance, because we were good ones and have insurance. Called in, and they said, we're going to schedule you with a doctor who then will refer you to a specialist, and the specialist can decide what treatment. After that treatment, that will get you in. The waiting time to see the doctor was 8 weeks. And then I called that doctor and said, well, once I come in, what is the process to get the colonoscopy? Well, my next availability is about 2.5 months. So people, we're looking at almost 5 months of waiting when I am literally on my hands and knees on the floor, just sobbing. It wasn't going to cut it. And we were so fortunate and beyond lucky stars that I have a dear friend who is family to me that lives here in beautiful Puerto Vallarta. And then Matt, my husband, has a very close friend of his who lives here part-time as an expat and also gets medical care here. And I kid you not, the same day we were talking to each of our friends separately who both suggested me come here and just maybe check it out. They gave us the email of somebody that, side note, if you're interested, I have her personal email and I would love to share that with you. Just email us or make a comment below. So I emailed this woman she's kind of like a mediator, right? So she is contacted by expats, people outside of Mexico who want to receive medical care. Then she contacts you directly with the doctor, the specialist, the surgeon, or whatever you need. So we thought, why not? Let's give it a go. So I emailed her. It's 2 hours later, I get an email response. Hi, Erica. How can I help you? Sounds like you're in a lot of pain. I'm like, okay, is this a robot responding? So I write back with all of the ailments. I thought, nothing to lose anyway. And she responds and says, we have an appointment for you set up for this date at this time with this doctor. Can you make it? It was like 6 days away. We literally booked a flight that morning. We left, I don't know, days later, flew right in. So I didn't have to see a lineup of people or jump through 8 different hoops in order to meet with this person. They scheduled the colonoscopy, gave me the instructions. I showed up the day of. I got to talk with the doctor herself right then and there. I was scheduled at 10 a.m. We show up early. I fill out the paperwork. They have me back there before 10:30. Everything is done, and I'm out of anesthesia, and we're home by noon. That doesn't happen ever in the States. Some of you might recall that we lost a little girl last year, and I had to have a DNC. They had scheduled me for 9 a.m., which was a fasting, right? So I fasted for all night, all morning. They pulled me back there. I wasn't seen till noon. I wasn't hooked up till 2, and the process didn't start till 3. So it was almost 24 hours of fasting and waiting with emotional and physical pain. It just wasn't pleasurable. And I know that was only one situation, but I know you all can relate in regards of, the joke, my appointment's at 10, but maybe I'll see them by 11. And that's real, but not here. I have had 3 different procedures here in Mexico in the past 2 months, and without exaggerating, I've never had to wait more than 20 minutes. To fast forward a little bit, and then we'll go back to pricing and that kind of deal. After the colonoscopy, good news, no cancer, no tumors, but I have stage 3 hemorrhoidal disease. Didn't know that existed. But per my request, we tried to take the gentle route to remove them or get rid of them or somehow manage them, and she was on board. We, meaning me and the actual doctor. Like, I have spoke to nobody else but her. She knows me inside and out, pun intended. And so her and I were discussing the options. So we tried certain things. The whole 2 months we were here, they never flared up again. Didn't think they were gone, but there was nothing she could do if everything was great. So we went back to the States. Sure enough, within a week of landing, it was one of the biggest flare-ups I've ever had. It was miserable, guys. Going back to the ER or a doctor was so out of the question after the experience I had here. The next step we did was get right back online and book another flight down here. Here's why. I took a picture, you all, like full-blown painful tears. Assuming our mediator had seen everything, I asked permission to send the picture. She said absolutely. I sent her the horrible photo. I get an email back that day from a specialist in Puerto Vallarta that says, that is an emergency needed situation. How soon can you be here? How soon can I see you? In the States, I had to be on a wait list. Sorry, now I'm getting all riled up, you guys. I gotta cool down. Again, I'm not trying to focus on the negativity I feel towards the American medical care. I'm not talking about the finances. I'm talking about like the concern they have for the human body. The care I received from the people here in the industry is remarkable. Okay, so after I sent the photo, she sent me back a date of consultation on a Tuesday, pre-op on a Wednesday, surgery on Thursday. You guys, we made this decision on like a Friday. And that is how quickly she got me in. Not because she had all the time in the world, but because she saw my situation and cared for my health, got me in. It was incredible. So good news, it's all taken care of. I just got off sitting on ice because this just happened last week, but it's done. It's taken care of. Before the surgery, I got to look at the surgeon in her eyes and ask all of the questions. Our meeting was an hour. I'm sure you guys can relate that a lot of times in the doctor offices or the hospitals, you are definitely a patient ID number. Sure, they have a concern for what you're going through, but they're really too busy to invest in how emotionally it's making you feel. This woman went out of her way to make sure that I felt safe, cared for, ready, all of it. I hope you can see that this was so outstanding to me compared to what I had personally experienced outside of Mexico. Okay, money talk. Not my favorite subject, but I'm willing to go there because this was a big part of the reason we are here and have been coming here for our medical care. Let's start with the colonoscopy. In America, they range from $1,250 to $4,000 depending on insurance, the facility, your location. That's a big range, but it's up there. I came here, it was $400. There's not a third zero on there, you guys. It was $400, and that included meeting with her prior, the actual procedure, and the follow-up appointment. That was all included. You can imagine in America it would have cost to talk to the doctor, cost for the procedure, cost for the follow-up, and on and on and on. Nope, one lump sum. Thank you very much. It's a no-brainer, right? Okay. So after the colonoscopy and returning back to America, then flying back to Mexico, we were prepared for called a hemorrhoidectomy. So it's not the banding. This isn't a lesson on hemorrhoids, but there is a difference in procedure, so please don't get that confused. Banding is an outpatient. You can be awake. They put some bands on it. They shrivel it, fall out. Or the surgery where they put you under anesthesia and then laser them off, cut them off, or somehow remove them from your body. Totally different process. And believe it or not, I had both. But in the USA, a hemorrhoidectomy costs anywhere from $9,000 to $12,000. Some with, some without insurance, but that's the average cost. Here, the average cost is $2,000 to $4,000. That's not even half. That's like a third of the price. So yeah, those prices, it's a fraction of the cost to have the procedure done here, but please let me remind you, this includes the pre-op, the post-op follow-ups, all of that. So you're not constantly paying every time they want to look you in the eye to tell you something they probably could have emailed you over or had a phone call with, right? It's so refreshing that they take their job serious enough and the care of you serious enough that the goal isn't to rob you, it's to make you feel better. And I feel that to my core here. Again, I've had multiple procedures here done, and they range from minor to major, and not one time have I felt taken advantage of or mistreated or left out in the dust or not called back. Okay, fun fact, the day after my hysterectomy, that's not the right word. The day after my hemorrhoidectomy, the surgeon called me from her private cell number just to check on me, to see if my pain was manageable, if I slept okay, is there anything else she can do? Meanwhile, shocked on the phone, I'm like, yeah, thanks for the phone call. I'll stop because I can go on and on about how I want to be friends with all the doctors here because they're just really good people. A few of you might be questioning their education or where they studied or what the hospitals look like. I just might be in the right place with the right people because I tell you, I might have just found the pot of gold at the rainbow or something, but the facilities here are spotless. So spotless that I kid you not, the first time I went, I was like, is this fake? Like, this has got to be like a scene from a movie and they're just putting doctors in here for fun. No, it's real. It's clean. It's organized, well kept. All of it was just so good. I thought it was a movie set, but it's real. And all of the education, when you research your doctors, of course, make sure you know who they are and where they studied and all that jazz. But when you please don't let me say jazz. I said jazz. A lot of people like to research the doctors that they're seeing and the surgeons who will be working on them. That makes sense. So when I did my research, these people, maybe they were born and raised here, then studied in the States or in Canada or over in England. Some of them were born over there and then chose to live a life here. All of that to me at this point doesn't matter because when you're eye to eye with a human who wants to make you feel better and not drain your bank account in the meantime, is quality to me. And that is why we will always come back here for anything more than a stuffy nose, truly. Fun fact, we also did our dental over here. Why not, right? Teeth cleaning, $38. A little drilling, I think that was 27 on top of the 38. You all know what you pay for your dentist. You can't compare that. Anyway, back to Puerto Vallarta and why we love this place. It's not the beaches, could be the weather, definitely the people, but for me, it's the medical care. I will say it again. If there's anybody out there, I'm not hard to reach. You can put a question in the comments. You can subscribe and then just email us with your questions. I am an open book and I would love to share more or at least get you connected or at least answer questions maybe that I didn't answer in this video. Okay, 100 thing. What did I not mention? Anyways, thanks for listening to my story. Sorry if it was TMI, but now we're like friends. But all in all, I hope you find what you're looking for. And last time, if you think this was helpful, subscribe. Nope. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Nope. Usually Matt finishes the videos, so I feel a little awkward. So I'm just going to awkwardly say bye. See you next time.